She stood trembling under the blinding stage lights, her frail hands gripping an old, broken guitar that looked as worn as her torn shirt. The audience murmured, some whispering in pity, others in disbelief. Her voice cracked as she spoke into the microphone. "If I sing well, will you give me food?" A hush fell across the hall. The judges froze. Cameras zoomed in. Nobody had ever heard a contestant start like that. Once before she stood on that massive stage, she was just a nameless girl on the street. Her name was Leela, but few knew it. She sang on sidewalks and at bus stops, not for fame, but for survival. Her voice, though raw and hauntingly beautiful, had long been drowned out by the noise of the city. Some threw coins, others turned away, pretending not to see the hunger in her eyes. Her life had been a series of cold nights and empty stomachs. She had learned to sleep under the sound of traffic and wake up to the growl of hunger. Yet through it all, she never stopped singing. Because when she sang, for a few moments, the pain disappeared. The world seemed kind again. One evening, as the sun sank behind the tall buildings, a man in a black jacket stopped by. He was holding a camera. "You have a beautiful voice," he said softly. "You should audition for the show Stars Rising." Leela laughed, a sound more of disbelief than amusement. "They wouldn't even let me in," she whispered, clutching her guitar tighter. But the man wasn't joking. He took her to the audition line the next day, gave her an old pair of shoes and said, "Just try. You've got nothing to lose." The moment Leela walked into the audition hall, every head turned. Her clothes were torn, her frame was thin, and her eyes held a lifetime of stories. The judges looked uncertain. One of them even whispered, "Is this some kind of prank?" But then she spoke, her voice trembling yet sincere. "I haven't eaten properly in days. If I sing well, will you give me food?" The silence that followed was thick enough to break hearts. She strummed her guitar and the first note echoed through the room. What came next was something no one expected. Her voice rose like a prayer, soft but powerful, filled with pain, hope, and a lifetime of longing. Every lyric seemed to carry the weight of her journey: abandonment, loneliness, hunger, and yet a spark of faith. The camera captured tears glistening in the audience. One of the judges, a middle-aged man known for being harsh, blinked rapidly, trying to hide his emotions. The woman beside him clasped her hands, whispering, "She's incredible." As Leela hit the final note, her voice cracked slightly, but that imperfection made it even more real. The hall erupted in applause. People stood. Some cried. The judge leaned forward and said, "You came here asking for food, but what you just gave us was a feast for the soul." A staff member brought her a plate of warm bread and fruit. Leela looked at it as if she were seeing a miracle. She broke the bread slowly, tears running down her face. Her story went viral overnight. Millions watched the clip titled "A Street Girl Asked for Food," then broke the world's heart with her song. Donations poured in. Offers came from music producers, but Leela didn't care about fame. When a reporter asked her what she would do with all the money, she said quietly, "I'll open a small shelter, a place where kids like me can eat and sing." Months later, that dream became real. The Song Haven opened in a tiny corner of the city. Every night children came with hungry bellies and hopeful eyes. Leela cooked, taught them to sing, and told them, "You are more than your hunger. You have a voice. Use it." Her journey became a symbol of resilience. The girl who once asked for food now fed others, not just with meals but with hope. When she was invited back on stage for a reunion show, she stood once again under the bright lights, now healthier, her eyes shining with quiet strength. She sang a song called "Be Kind Always," written for the world that once ignored her and later embraced her. The crowd stood, clapping and crying. And Leela smiled, the same girl who once sang for bread, now singing for hearts. Speech balloon, if this story touched your heart, tell us what you felt in the comments. Would you have helped Layla if you'd seen her on the street? Backhand index pointing right, don't forget to like. share, and subscribe to Be Kind Always for more real, emotional stories that remind us how kindness can change a life.